Today we have with us, on a return visit, the Informer. And that's the name he goes by, or, well, I'll just leave it at that. You can read his writings on Against the Grain Press website. That's atgpress.com. And right under that first column you see the Informer. Click on that. And he has a number of topics to which he addresses his writings. And I want to thank you, I-Man, for coming on for a second show. Hello, I-Man.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear you.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. We left off with a certain topic. I think that you wanted to kind of tie up loose ends before we went on to a second topic. Do you want to pick up right there?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify a couple things that was on the last show before we get into the rest of the British, or not the British, but the Crown control.
Right.
What I've got is from, and anybody can pick this up if they go online, it's cited from 47 Duke Law Journal, 1013. And it is entitled, Is Tobacco a Drug? And then it says administrative agencies as common law courts. And when I went in there to look at the definition of common law, because definitions play such an important role in everything we do today, that what you pick up and read in a standard dictionary like Webster's is totally different than what you pick up and read in a law statute dictionary. So one of the things was definition of common law. And in the Duke Journal it says, also known as case law. Common law is a set of principles and rules of action that have been made by judges in the course of writing opinions in litigated matters. This is to be distinguished from statutory law, which is law created by legislative bodies. Common law rests on the principle of stare decisis, which means that judges will abide by or adhere to decided cases or precedent. Common law reflects the principles determined by the social needs of the community, which change over time. Okay. So they go on further in the Law Journal, and they say that today the common law courts do not exist only in administrative agencies. So any time that you happen to, let's say IRS, and they happen to send you a letter, and you don't respond, okay, that agency is a common law court. And what they do is they note it that you defaulted in not responding. They, of course, send you all these other letters. And you don't, some people don't respond, some people do. But when they go into a real court, which is mostly all maritime, admiralty jurisdiction, the court, everybody loses, and they wonder why, because all their arguments are there and they think they're going to win. Well, what it is, the whole thing is res judicata because they've already been to the common law court. And that's the common law agency, whether it be HUD, IRS, Social Security, any of the agencies from A to Z. They are the common law courts. Now, once I have that done, I went to get back into the Bevins case.
Can I hold you for a second there?
Sure.
Here's what there's one thing I want to ask you. You use the term mostly admiralty courts, or they're mostly that.
Right.
Now, can you be more precise? In other words, what courts aren't, or are you just understating that they're all admiralty?
No, well, they're all admiralty, but they go into the common law, such as anyone violating the Ten Commandments. Murder, rape, robbery, they're common law crimes, and they've been that way since time immemorial. So those are the courts that sit. In other words, an admiralty court can sit as a common law court under those principles. Because when you go back and you read some of the old cases, when they first came over to this country, and the Bevins case is one of them. And I'll read right from that. And it's on page 3655, and it says, "There can be no doubt that the technical common law terms used in the Constitution are to be construed according to that law, such as habeas corpus, trial by jury, etc." Now here's a kicker. But this is a term of universal law, cases of admiralty and maritime jurisdiction. Not cases of admiralty jurisdiction only, but the amplest, broadest, and most expansive terms that could be used to grasp the largest sense relative to the section, to the subject matter. So, in the case they're talking about, say someone killed in a bay. That comes under admiralty jurisdiction. It's a common law crime, yeah, because that murder, is a common law crime. So, consequently, the locus in quo is not within the body of any country. It's within the maritime law, which is universal. So it goes on in further, and it says that jurisdiction is exclusively vested in the United States courts cognizance of this offense. There is no doubt the courts of the United States are courts of limited jurisdiction, but not limited as to each general class of cases of which they take cognizance. So the meaning and extent of these terms is to be sought for, not in the common law, but in the civil law. Now remember, I had said previously that the civil law is admiralty law.
Okay.
So that is where, that's where I say mostly.
Well, so in other words, you could actually go into the same court, and I guess, in a way, the judge changes hats without you really knowing it. Actually, it's the law that changes, or the laws by which the judges go by.
Right, because it's the caption page that queers the judge to sit by that law.
In other words, it's a trigger to tell him which way to go?
Yes.
Okay.
And now, further on in the Bevins case, they come in and they say that on page 278, that whether courts of admiralty in the plantations can take cognizance of questions which arise concerning the importation or exportation of goods to or from them, or of frauds in matters of trade. Now, I said plantations. This is, again, definitions. Plantations were the colonies. Each of the colonies is called a plantation. It's not a farm. It is a business. And so there's a lot of times when people read plantations, they think farm. It's not. It's a business. It's a corporate structure. Now, it says that and in cases a vessel sail up any river with prohibited goods intended for the use of inhabitants, whether the former may choose what court he will prosecute. So you have the right to choose the court. In the court of admiralty or of common law. Okay. Now it says, on this construction of the statute, the courts of admiralty in the colonies assume jurisdiction over causes arising from violations of laws of trade and of revenue. Quote, and from this time, end quote, says Mr. Reeves, there seems to have been a more general obedience to the acts of trade and navigation. That's why this case, United States versus Bevans, is critical to get to see how they're operating. All right, so now, based on this, we go to, and anybody can pick this up from Cornell. It is http://www.law.cornell.edu/topics/admiralty/HTML. It says Admiralty Law Materials, and it gives the overview. And it says the courts in Congress seek to create a uniform body of admiralty law, both nationally and internationally, in order to facilitate commerce. That federal courts derive their exclusive jurisdiction over this field of the Judiciary Act of 1789 and from Article 3, Section 2 of the U.S. Constitution. Congress regulates admiralty partially through the Commerce Clause. American admiralty law formerly applied only to American tidal waters. It now extends to any waters navigable within the United States for interstate and foreign commerce. In such waters, jurisdiction includes maritime matters, not interstate commerce, including recreational boating. It goes on further, and I don't want to read the whole thing, but it would take up most of this time. It says that the common law does not act as a binding precedent on admiralty courts, but it and other law may be used when no law on point is available. Parties subject to admiralty may not contract